Good morning. Oops, it's not where I wanted to start. Good morning. Welcome to Coffee and Conversation. My name is Ramona McKee. I am with Quick to Stitch. I am Quick to Stitch, your digitizing and embroidery friend. Um, I want to I want to first preface today with a statement stating that, this is only my second episode. It's a work in progress. So we're going to try to focus on breaking during individual sections so as to make available your statements and comments as we go. Oh, we have a Facebook user. Good morning. Facebook user, if you post your name, I'll try to remember it. Sandra Botswana, welcome. Hey, Barb, glad you could make it. I was just saying that today we're going to try to stop in between sections so that I can take your questions as we go. So, what I want you to do is if you think of a question as I'm presenting whatever I'm presenting, just pop it in the comments and I will pause at the end of that section and go through all of the questions that you have. Oh, morning, Mike. Can't stay today. Oh, I suppose I should do this. Here we go. Can't stay today. Just wanted to say have a good show. Your name did come up today, Mike. Thank you. And thank you very much for coming in to say hello. And another Facebook user. Evidently, I helped them with their 1201 SWF. I'm happy to help. That's what I do. Excuse me. Today, we are going to talk about needles. You know, those pointy little things that puncture through all of your fabric and your stabilizer. Yeah, they they can be a very important function in your machine, obviously, because if your thread doesn't go through and catch the bobbin, it doesn't stay. You don't create a stitch. So, Cindy, good morning, Cindy King. Thank you for coming today. So again, as we're filling up, I'm going to try to put it out there again. If you have a question as I'm talking about a specific section, just pop it in the comments and I will stop at the end of that section and go through all of the comments and questions that you might have. So the first thing I want you to see is in the comments, there's a links list. Now, the links list doesn't have a lot on it this week. The biggest thing it has is a link to the Schmitz Needle website. It has a great educational page on needles. For example, it talks about the history of needles. Where did needles come from? They weren't in the machine to start with. People used different mediums, different objects to sew with. And Schmitz has a great write-up on that. I hope you take a few minutes and look at that. The first thing on our list is, where is it? The first thing on our list is the parts of a needle. Did you know that a needle has a butt? Yes, it does. In fact, there you go. The butt and the shank are the two parts of the needles that actually sit up in the needle box. That's what your machine secures the needle to. The shaft is just a transition from the full round area of the butt and shank to come down into the taper of the needle. Now the long groove here, the long groove acts as another thread guide. Remember, your needles are moving at 600 or more or faster stitches per minute. That's a lot of friction. That's a lot of bouncing. Without those thread guides, your thread can find itself all over. We don't want that. We want them to progress nicely down the needle to the eye of the needle. Now, on the back side of the needle, I want you to see this scarf right here, this little cutout. This little cutout is very, very important. It's very important because at the bobbin race, which is where your hook is, that's that whole piece. In fact, here, let's watch this for a moment. I don't have one of those fancy turntables, so you get the manual version. But this is the bobbin race. And the bobbin race up in this area right here is the hook. The hook is what the hook is. Sorry, I've lost my place here. Oh, there we are. The hook is what catches the bobbin thread. And there needs to be space behind the needle to catch that bobbin thread. Let's see if we can go here. What do we got here? Sorry, remember I'm new to this, and I don't think you can see this. It's not very large, but the scarf, again, is right here. Pull out any needle that you have for any machine that you use and turn it over to the back side, and you will see this scarf. So what happens is the hook comes behind the needle and catches the bobbin thread. That's what makes your stitch. If your needle was completely round, it would catch, the backside would catch on that hook, and it would, I don't know, make a funking noise, break a needle, not catch the bobbin. So it's very important that the shaft, that the scarf of the needle land right here in front of the hook. What happens if that doesn't happen? Well, if your needle comes down too soon, by the time it starts to pull up, the hook is just coming to the needle, and it's missed its chance to catch the bobbin thread. It's already past the eye of the needle. Or if the hook comes around before, gets past the needle, then your needle is down after the hook has already made its progression. Again, you're going to miss your bobbin thread, and that's not going to make a stitch. Be very careful when you have thread breaks. Look to see if your hook is still in correct position. A lot of times, yes, they're screwed in there tight, but a good strike can shift anything at any time. So we're going to go check comments. What have we got here? Oh, thank you, Cindy. Cindy says that she loves my props, that they're very helpful. Did you like the manual turning display? Yeah, I thought about that one for a while. Good morning, Letty. Letty, it's so good to see you. And what do we have here? Facebook user, thank you. Thank you for joining us today. Let me just restate once again that if you have any questions as we progress through this, please just write it in the comments. I will pause and come back to look to see what we have. All right, where are we going next? So we've talked about the scarf. We talked about the correct hook. Scarf too soon, too late. Let's compare some needles. Needle comparison. Here we go. And the thing that I want to talk to you about here is different size needles. Different size needles are going to penetrate your fabric and leave a hole for the thread to remain in. And with embroidery, it's very, very important to use an embroidery needle or even a metallic needle or a top stitch needle. The reason for this is the eyes are longer, are elongated. Here's your standard sewing needle, your standard machine sewing needle. This is great for your cotton poly threads. Your sewing machine generally only goes about 400 stitches per minute. So, it can tolerate a little bit more friction. It doesn't have to, it's not going to pull your thread as hard. But we need the extra needle, we need the extra space in the eye of the needle to accommodate the different thread sizes that we use and to accommodate the friction that's going to happen as your needle is doing its job. Now, these two are a little bit backwards. This is a size 9 needle, size 10, 11, and a 12. Now, as you can see, each one progressively gets larger. And each one, the eye of the needle progressively gets larger. The thread I've placed in these are all 40 weight threads. And the reason I did this is because with this size 9 needle, people will want to put their 40 weight thread in a size 9 needle. They're going to experience shredding and thread breakage. And the reason for that is because that eye is too small for the 40 weight thread. And there's too much friction, so it just saws the thread back and forth. There's not enough room for it to move around. Let's see, what do we got here? Comments? Thank you, Cindy. She loves my turning prompt. And who do we have here? MJATI Carmel. Well, hello, Carmel. And we have Anthony from Sydney. What time is it there, Anthony? Oh, I'm sorry. Antony. Antony? I'm so sorry. And just a shout out hello from custom made from Barb to Cindy. Okay. Well, let's move on. What is our next slide here? Oh, needle deflection. I can't tell you how many times I've seen a post that shows somebody stitching on canvas and their columns, their satin columns are jagged. And this is because the needle is going to deflect. It's going to take the oh, it's 1:00. God, I'll try to make this quick so you can get to bed. When you're talking needles, the ones you're showing, are those more home? Yes, actually, because of the Cindy, because of the size variations in my embroidery work, I use primarily just the size 65.9 and the 75.11. So I didn't have a size 12 needle to display or a size 10 needle to display. So I pulled them out of my home needle stash for my home needle, my home embroidery machine. Good morning, Deanna. So anyways, back to deflection. People will have this jagged, zigzaggy look on their stitches, and they don't understand why it's not smooth and straight like a line of print. Well, first of all, you're punching holes are round. You're using thread is round, so it's not going to give you a perfectly printed straight line. But again, the needle is going to deflect. It's going to take the path of least resistance in your woven threads and in your knits. If your needle point comes down to where the yarn of your fabric is, it is not going to try to power through that space. It is not going to try to punch through and separate those fibers. It's going to deflect. It's going to, hold on, I got to change my banner here. Oh, it's going to deflect. It's going to deflect and go to either down, up, it's going to go left or right, whatever space it needs to go, it's going to find the opening where the yarns pass each other. And that holds true for both woven fabrics and knits. It's not going to try to power through it's not going to try to power through the yarns. Let's see. So we have that. And now the last thing I want to talk to you is dull needles. We get questions all the time. You see them all the time in group and from your clients, from your customers. Well, from my clients, from my customers. How do I know when to change my needle? So I'm hoping that this works. This is a little 10-second clip. Turn your volume up. Listen hard. Here we go. I'm going to restart that. I can't hear it. I'm thinking I've done something wrong. We're going to try something else. Hold on. What I did was I took a needle and deliberately made it dull. I did that because when you're using a dull needle, you can hear that it needs to be changed. And that's what I'm hoping. Okay, we're going to try this again. Dull needle. New sharp needle. Dull needle slowed down so you can hear it. Okay, we're going to try it again. Hold on. I need to move it. Dull needle. New sharp needle. Dull needle slowed down so you can hear it. Yeah, you can hear that, but you can't see it, can you? That's because it's up on the other monitor. Let me try this again. We're going to move this down. I'm going to expand it. See all my videos. Of course, it's not there. So, talk amongst yourselves. I'll be back in just a moment. Dull needle. New sharp needle. Dull needle slowed down so you can hear it. Shall we do that again? Because I'm sitting here and just fussing with the whole thing. And dull needle. New sharp needle. Dull needle slowed down so you can hear it. Okay. So, did you hear at the dull needle how it made a thunk? It's because the flat, your needle's no longer sharp, it's flat at the point, and it's trying to push through the the fabric. I was just thinking to see if I couldn't find something here at my desk to punch through, but I don't have anything. Oh, okay. Mechanical pencil. No point. The point is dull. Paper. Did you hear how it didn't go through? Same thing holds true with your needle. Oh, of course, this is a terrible display. Sorry, Adam. I know Adam is here because I got a hello from both Jeff and Adam. Adam, I need your video production skills. You're gonna have to teach me how to do that. Okay. So, while we're here, Cindy has a question. She doesn't have a home embroidery machine. Oh, just making sure I understand the needle sizes. Yes, the sizes, if you look at the Schmitz link, again, it's in our links list, which can be found at the very top of the comments. Um, there's a Schmitz link to the history of needles. And I don't I'm afraid I don't remember the exact year. Um, I don't remember the exact year, but at some point they became standardized across the industry so that a size 9 needle is a size 9, whether it's here in the United States, in Australia, in Europe, everywhere. The size 10, the size 11, and if you remember, they have that it's a size 75 11. 75 is actually an indication, a measurement, a metric measurement. It is 0.75 hundredths of 1 millimeter, I believe. Let's see. Did you like that, Cindy? Cindy was saying that it was amazing how you think your needle is sharp. Yeah, you can still poke yourself with it. But when you see it magnetized, it's flat. And it's going to make that thunking noise. Thunk, 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 trying to get through your fabric. And then when you have that sharp needle, it's just smooth. It's like a warm knife through butter. So, okay, so that's what I have on needles. Does anybody have any questions? Does anybody have any thoughts? Does anybody have anything they want to share? And it doesn't have to be about needles. That was just this week's subject. I'm going to give you a moment. I'm going to take a sip of coffee. Uh, did you love these cups? A friend of mine, Aaron Montgomery, um, does sublimation, and he made the cup for me. And he's also got them available for sale. That's on the links list also. Let's see. Gonna take a sip. I just realized none of my cats came to show today. I'm disappointed. What else have we got here? Um, I know, Jeff, you warned me. You said there's gonna be some lag between the question I put out there and getting the answer, and I should have some fillers. So here it is, me trying to fill. Cindy's drinking her iced tea. Iced tea is iced tea is good. Do you put a little lemon in your tea? I like a little lemon in there. Oh, not where I wanted to go. Let's pull this off. So, yes, that's what I have on needles. Did anybody want to see anything again? What have we got here? Do, do, do. Do, 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 do. I know. We have another comment. Thank you. Cindy takes her tea straight up. I was gonna say, is that neat? But then you did say it was iced tea, and that would be with ice. Look at my other comments on the app. I'm afraid I would think I'd have access to all comments. Can't post to some of the destinations. Oh. I'll have to check that out because I'm really new at this. Okay, so let's give it just another minute. I don't want to take up all of your Saturday morning. Just wanted to pop in. Almost forgot. What do you want to talk about next week? We can move on to fabrics, different weaves from duck cloth to silk. Um, we can go into software. We can talk about how to lay out a design file in our software to create the design we want to stitch. Um, any specifics? I'm open to everything. You want to talk about business, marketing? How do you get your name out there? How do you find your client base? I know there's a lot of talk this year about niche marketing. What is yours? We can talk about that. Uh, I think I got it, Cindy. Are you talking about this one? Cindy wanted me to mention how you think your needle is sharp, but when it's magnetized, it's flat. Oh, we have a question. Where we go? There we are. Would titanium needles last longer? Are they worth getting? Okay. First thing about titanium needles is they are not 100% titanium. I'm sure most of you know this, but there are some that hear titanium and think, oh, this thing's going to last forever. What it is they take your stainless steel needle and they dip it in a titanium solution so that you have a titanium coating. And yes, they do last longer. They last about twice as long. So do your dollars. How much do you pay for 100 standard stainless steel needles, and how much do you pay for 100 titanium needles? And know that you're going to get about half life again. So if your needle lasts about 8 hours, the titanium needle is going to last about 12 hours. And that's continuous high speed stitching. Um, I don't use the titaniums myself because I don't keep track of the hours, and I break needles. I don't want to, then I have, it's not going to last if you break it. So titanium needles, oh, I just had a memory. Sorry about that. Um, Titanium needles are great for your harder, stiffer projects. Hats, for example. Hats are very hard on needles because of the buckram. It's kind of sharp. The fabric is stiff. So a titanium needle would be great for hats. A titanium needle would be great for um, large projects on vinyl, for example, because you need to keep that needle sharp to get through the vinyl. Anything that's tougher, stiffer, a titanium needle would be great for. Cindy's comment that she was trying to point out to me was that Schmitz has an app that has the needle information at your fingertips. Cindy, you're amazing. Thank you. And Deanna has a vote for marketing. So next week, we're going to talk about marketing. We're going to talk about how to get your name out there. I have a couple of ideas. I have one that I used myself almost 9 years ago that helped progress me to where I am today. And I'm going to share that with you next week. If we have no other questions, and I'll wait just a moment to know that, we will end our session today, and I invite you to come back next week when we talk about marketing. Good morning, Letty. And you are very, very welcome. Anytime. I hope to see you next week. Now go to bed. It's late. So we're going to sign off now. You all have a great weekend. I'm new here, so I'm just trying to find my end video. You guys all have a nice weekend. We'll see you soon.
Wasn't that fun? Do you have more questions? Do you want to learn something new? Join me at quicktostitch.com for coffee and conversation, and we'll talk about it. Embroidery machines, designs, and business. Hope to see you soon. Bye now.